basically, if you don't know where you're going, then you don't know when you get there. So I'm a trainer who started the business because I thought it was the next logical step in my career. And then I didn't give much thought to who I wanted to help and why, what my goals for the business were, what my end game was, what my exit plan was when I, started the business, what is the mission of my business. These are fundamentals. This is what should drive everything in my business. It gives the business focus and goals. So I decided I needed to reverse engineer my business by answering some of these questions. Hey, what's up, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Masters in Fitness Business podcast, where normally I bring you a giant in the fitness industry, but today we're trying something a little different, and that this is going to be a solo podcast. It's only the second one I've done, other than the very first episode of the podcast. So this is catching me out of my comfort zone. But I was thinking back on all the past guests, and most recently, Joe Templin, who talked about if you're not aiming for anything, then you're not going to hit anything. And there are other targets, the other guests that talked about, what's your branding? Well, what should your branding look like? Well, what's your demographic, or what demographic are you trying to capture? Same thing with the marketing. Same thing with building your website. If you don't have a goal or target in mind, then how are you going to build something that's effective at reaching that goal or that target? So I know that's important for me. So basically, if you don't know where you're going, then you don't know when you get there. So I'm a trainer who started the business because I thought it was the next logical step in my career. And then I didn't give much thought to who I wanted to help and why, what my goals for the business were, what my end game was, what my exit plan was when I, started the business, what is the mission of my business. These are fundamentals. This is what should drive everything in my business. It gives the business focus and goals. So I decided I needed to reverse engineer my business by answering some of these questions. And if you have the same questions, I'm hoping that this podcast sparks some of these questions in you. Then I hope you can use this process and what I'm about to say to bring some value to your life and to your business. So how do you do that? Well, my coach, Daniel Henderson from Australia, recommended this book for me, Game Changer by John Berardi. And most of you guys will know John Berardi as one of the co-founders of Precision Nutrition. He has built, from the ground up, one of the nation's top nutrition companies. So I would think the guy knows a few things about, answering some of these questions and using it to drive his business. Well, on my coach's recommendation, I ordered it and I started to read it, and then it turned into a workbook for me. I'm not going to take you through the book, although I do strongly recommend the book, that you go and pick it up and read it or use it as a workbook like I'm choosing to. You don't necessarily have to. I talked to my coach about it, and he said that he just read it, front to back. But I'm choosing to kind of use it to do some work for my business, reverse engineer my business. So, but the book is really good, and it's layered and just has so much great stuff in it. And this is just maybe a teaspoon of what you'll get if you read the book. So I don't know where to start on these things, but these are some of the questions that I chose to focus on to help me get some answers to questions that are both basic and philosophical, but are guiding principles in my life and my business, and inspired this fundamental task. And for me, it went something like this. So first, part that I chose to focus on was what he calls in the book defining your purpose. And these are basically 4 questions that are: who do I want to help? Why do I want to help them? And how will I know when I've helped them? Well, I went and answered some of these questions, and I'm going to just share my answers with you. And again, I'm going to be pretty vulnerable on this one. So I'll bring up, you'll be able to see here. So these are my answers. And obviously, you're going to have different answers if you choose to take this task on. But for me, these are, again, fundamentals that I can use to build a mission and a vision for my business that will guide every principle, every action, every decision in my business. So the first one is, who do I want to help? Anyone who has movement issues and still wants to stay fit and healthy. Why do I want to help them? So they know they can still have an active lifestyle despite what life has thrown at them. And that's a personal reason of mine because, I'm an older trainer. I've come to realize that. And, I beat the shit out of my body, and I have, injuries that I've rehabbed, that I'm currently rehabbing. But that doesn't mean that, I have to sit on the sidelines. I can still get in there and play. And what kind of help do you want to provide for them? And this was a tougher one for me. So I said, giving them a simple system to improve their health and fitness, something they can take ownership of for themselves. And how will I know if I've already helped them? When I've helped enough people to have $1 million a year business. So I use that to kind of flip it and turn it into a business goal. But again, like I said earlier, this might take you in a totally different direction than it will take me. In fact, I quite expect it to. So then after I took some time and gave some thought to answering those questions, I moved on to the next section, which is called defining your purpose, defining your purpose. And then he poses the questions: why do I want to work in the health and fitness industry in the first place? Do I want to work with clients or members? If yes, what type of clients do I want to work with? If no, what do you gravitate towards instead? Do you want to run or own your own business, which is a legitimate question? What relationship do you want with your income? And what relationship do you want with your work? What other skills and talents and aptitudes do you have? When I first started my business, I wish I'd done this exercise, because for me, my work, when I opened the business, my work took over my life. It was 100% of my life, and all the other relationships in my life suffered as a result of it. So I wish I had some focus of what kind of relationship I wanted with my work before I started the business, because it would save me a lot of pain and suffering and money. So again, I'm going to share my screen and share my answers with you for these questions as well. So just to give you an idea of kind of where I took it, and you can take it wherever you need to define your answers. Why do you want to work in the health and fitness industry in the first place? To enlighten others that the health and fitness of your body affects the other aspects of your life, your quality of life, physically, spiritually, intellectually, and mentally. Do you want to work with clients or patients? And this one kind of surprised me once I thought about it, but no, I don't. That type of work doesn't inspire me any longer. I don't feel adequately challenged. Now, I had a trouble putting this down because it sounds kind of arrogant, but the bottom line is that I've been a trainer for 30 years, and that I can almost do it in my sleep. And so, and not that there's not new things to learn or new techniques. I believe in all of that, continued education. But for me, it just doesn't light the fire in my belly anymore. And so that was a tough realization for me that came out of this Now I still love helping people in their health and fitness. And so I answered, if no, what do you gravitate towards instead? And that's creating systems, products, intellectual property, et cetera. This is what inspires me right now. We're building an operations manual for my business, along with my coach, so that we can have protocols so that if we lose someone, we can just put somebody else in there. And so if I can build a smoother running business that scales, then I can help more people in the health and fitness industry. It just is the way that I'm choosing to look at it. Meaning I can help more clients. I can help more people find jobs and careers in the field of health and fitness and personal training, which I believe very strongly in. So that's what I'm choosing to focus on this stage of my career. And I wouldn't have had a clear idea of that had I not done this exercise. Do you really want to help other people? Yes, I believe that most people don't see the potential of this life. If I can improve just one aspect of their lives, then maybe it will inspire them to see the potential for themselves. And that's a true story. I know when I first started out in health and fitness, working out on the consumer side, I was an 18-year-old kid who was, rail thin and wanted to bulk up, but I didn't know anything about anything. So once I kind of got that fire, learned one thing, it sparked a little curiosity and inspired me to learn other things. So I just want to do that for as many people as possible. And the next question is, do you really want to own or run your own business? Yes. Now that I better understand what it means, I understand the power of systems and building a great team. But I would like less employees, because to be honest with you, employees are, they require a lot of energy to manage. And that's just being honest. But I couldn't have built the business I built without them, and without them being important members of the team. And that goes into leadership, which I don't really touch on in this exercise. What relationship do you want with your income? Security. I would like my income to provide me with the security of knowing all my needs and some wants are being met right now and going forward for me, my family, and my team. So I don't have like a dollar amount. You can certainly set a dollar amount, and you can reverse engineer that as far as, calculating what you would need to put in and at what marks. And I've done that in the past, but for this one, I don't have a certain number in mind, as long as it's enough, right? Enough for me to do what I need to do, and, have some fun too, go on vacations, travel, spend money on my kids, my loved ones, things like that. So, but again, this is my task. Yours might be totally different. What relationship do you want with your work? For me, I answered, I would like my work to be an extension of who I am and or what I believe. I want to have a flexible schedule that allows me to be there for my youngest son. I have a 4-year-old son. I don't want work to keep me tied down to one location. I want the ability to work remotely for long periods of time. And this is also kind of what sparked not wanting to work with clients, is that for all of these reasons, I want to be able to be there for my 4-year-old son. It's something I feel really strongly about at this stage in my life. And also wanting the freedom to travel, not wake up to an alarm, shit like that. Again, this is where I am at this stage of my life. When I was younger, man, I was a beast. It was beast mode all the time. It was all pedal to the metal. But that's not where I am now. So, but again, I wouldn't have had any clarity on that had I not done this exercise. So again, just sharing this with you. You can have your own results if you choose to do it. So again, this so defining your purpose. So now we go to the next part, which is he talks about uncovering your unique abilities. I've heard other people call it your superpower or your superpowers, but what really are your superpowers? And what I think, if what I think my superpowers aren't what other people think my superpowers are. Really, what if they're really not superpowers? I just think they are, and my superpower is something else. So I was really intrigued by this exercise. So uncovering your unique abilities. It's easy to have blind spots or incorrect assumptions about our abilities and talents. So to get a different perspectives, we need to ask others. So step one in this process is to contact 5 to 10 colleagues, friends, and other people you're close to, and send them these 5 questions. And these should be, for me, I thought they should be people who know me well and that I trust them to give me honest feedback. They're not trying to, blow smoke up my ass or bullshit me or anything like that. They're going to give me honest feedback because I value having those type of people in my life. And, if you go back to it, it's, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose those people wisely. And I suggest that you do the same if you choose to do this task. So that's what I did. And I sent them these questions. What are the talents or abilities or characteristics that describe me? What makes me tick? What do you count on me for? And is there anything that impresses you about who I am? Now, this was scary for me because I was exposing myself and asking people I trusted would be honest to tell me about me. So it was time to find out if I was a douchebag or as cool as a guy that I thought I was, or probably the truth, which is something in between. But when I got the surveys back, it turned into a really rewarding task for me, and really increased my confidence in several ways with the answers. So it was, for me, it was worth the risk of feeling vulnerable to these people that I trusted. So I will share with you some of the responses I got. Let's see here. I'll open some of these up. Let me share my screen. All right. So I just wrote a little quick preamble, and it was real simple. I say, hey, look, I'm working on a project. When I would email them, I would say, hey, look, I'm working on a project. I really would appreciate you helping me out. I would consider it a favor, and then I would definitely owe you one in return. So thank you for taking the time to help me with this process. Again, I consider a favor. Please take a few minutes to fill it out and email back to me. And again, I told them it's only going to take a few minutes, so they don't, put it on the back burner. They can knock it out right now and just send it back to me. Told them try not to overthink it. The first answer is usually the correct one in this situation, which I do believe. So this is just one, and everybody's going to try to remain anonymous here. So a good communicator, calm, charismatic, resilient, coachable. What makes me tick? Progress and growth, being out of your comfort zone. What do you count on me for? You show up consistently. You play above the line despite several challenges been thrown your way. How do you describe my way of doing things? You get things done with a minimum of fuss. You don't overcomplicate anything, and you have integrity. Is there anything that impresses you about who I am? Lots. The resilience and appetite to grow are what impresses me the most. So just so you don't think I'm showing you the one good one, they were all kind of like this. And I don't want to bore you with going through each and every one of them. I'd be happy to share them with you if you want, but they were all pretty much like this. And I was not expecting this. So for me, this was a pleasant surprise, and also helped me identify some of my superpowers, some of my unique abilities, what, and compare what other people think I'm good at against what I think I'm good at. And so again, it just brought more clarity for, my unique abilities, the things I should be focusing on in the business, and how I should go about focusing on them and using these unique abilities to run my business. So again, it was just a really, really good exercise. And then the last step that I've taken, and there's many more in this book, it goes on and on. But the next one was that he identified was making your unique ability statements. And, you get all the questionnaires back and you identify common words and statements and use them to make your unique ability statements and keep them around. He keeps them in his office to remind him of his unique abilities and his superpowers. So some of my unique ability that I wrote, again, let me find this real quick. There we go. And then share my screen. So if you go down to my unique ability, and then I went through uncovering, and then I wrote down just some common things and phrases that kind of were consistent throughout most of the questionnaires, and just so I can get a kind of bird's eye view of, kind of the theme for each question. So then I went on to go through the common themes again. And then here are my unique ability statements. And just a couple of them. I won't read them all to you because, again, I don't want this to become the Jim Adams, confidence builder show. But it's a good exercise for that, and I have to tell you that I needed that right now because I'm coming back from open heart surgery, and man, that thing, it knocked me on my ass. I mean, I feel like I'm starting back from square one, so I needed a little pick me up. And a little self-reflection is always good for that. But anyway, my unique ability statements. I am good at reading people, recognizing their intentions, and making them feel comfortable. I have a strong work ethic that I combine with a passion for health, fitness, and movement. I am good at bringing people together and nurturing friendship. I have a reverence for unpolluted friendship and do my best to keep it pristine. I see money as a vehicle to security, autonomy, and exploring ways of becoming a better human by experiencing as much as life as possible. So those are just some of my unique ability statements that he recommends that you keep working on and refining as time goes on, that you never really consider them finished. So that's what I plan on doing. And also, like him, getting some of them put around my office so that I can be reminded, so if I get stuck in a situation, then I can kind of view these and say, hey, maybe I can try this approach because, this is one of my unique abilities, one of my superpowers. And hopefully it translates into, and the reason I was doing all of this, I can't believe almost forgot to say that, was that I was looking for not only my purpose in my business, but what my business's purpose, what my business's mission and vision should be. And then sharing that, actually, I build it with my team so that they feel like they're part of that mission and vision. And then once we have that, just constantly reminding ourselves of it so that we use it to guide every decision, every action that we make in the business. So that was the whole purpose of this. And then, of course, I find with most leadership skill builders it requires a tremendous amount of self-reflection. So I hope you were able to get some value from this. Please let me know. You can email me at trainer Jim, Jim, not GYM, trainer Jim, FE at Gmail. Let me know what you thought. Did you hate it? Did you love it? Would you like more of this or some different styles of format other than the interview format? So you can DM me on MIFB_podcast. Or you can find me on Facebook at Masters in Fitness Business Podcast. All those sites, you can message me through that. So yeah, just let me know and give me some feedback on what you thought of this episode and if you want to see more of different types of format. So until next time, I hope your business is a success.